What's up everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Blue Christmas calendar. Delighted to have you. And now it wouldn't be Christmas like at all if we didn't go pick up a Christmas tree. And not only are we going to go pick up a Christmas tree, we're going to go pick up a Christmas tree in a Ford Kuga PHEV. So we're going to do a little walk around the Ford Kuga and see what it's all about. Let's get stuck in. So do you know what's really cool that I've never had on a test car before is this, right? So if you're into your MMA, watch out, yeah. So the Ford Kuga PHEV, what have we got here? Well, first off, up front, 2.5 litre petrol with an electronic battery to aid you in your driving. We've got, it's a 5-door, 5-seater inside, very relative Ford. It's also an automatic. All hybrids are automatic, but just in case you didn't know that. This spec here is actually the titanium spec. It's not really the high up spec, it's like the mid-level spec. So you don't get leather seats, you get cruise control, lane assist. What else do you get? You get your Apple CarPlay, your Bluetooth, all those kind of bells and whistles, but you don't get any of the really fancy stuff like the door protectors, the painted bumpers, side skirts, all that kind of stuff. But you do get the Kuga on the base level. Now, that would take your head off if you weren't watching where you're going. Also very handy, and you can also move the seats forward and back. I will demonstrate that later on. I love this about Fords, right? This is the best thing. 3-pin plug. Hands down, that's why you should buy it straight away. Want to bring a kettle with you, make a cup of tea? No problem. Most Fords are all like this, apart from the smaller cars like the Fiesta and the Focus. They don't have the 3-pin sockets. Now, it's a very good looking machine. That's your plug-in hybrid socket right at the front there. Your petroleum goes in the back here. Very nice. Very usable. One thing I noticed with this kind of mid-range SUV is that the windows in the back of them are often very high up, so you can't see much out of them, which makes it very claustrophobic and it can make you car sick. Proof and fact, because that happened to me before. It also has this fancy little doohickey. So if I do that, look at that. Please excuse all my mess. That's all me. This is your power socket. Excuse me, because I don't know what they're actually called. I'm not Bob Flappin. I don't know how to do any of this. But if you do that swipey thing with your foot, it closes the boot too. Now, this isn't really for me, right? Okay, I'm not gonna lie to you and say I would buy one of these cars, because I probably wouldn't. I don't have any kids. I'm not one of those lifestyle-y people that put surfboards on the roof. So this car technically isn't for me. But if you're in your late 20s, early 30s, maybe 40s, 50s, this would be the car for you. Comes with parking sensors all around. Lane keeping assist, which I'm not a fan of lane keeping assist in general, but don't mind that. We'll scooter over that. Now, we'll go and have a look on the inside in the cabin. So we will, hey. Now, so you're greeted with your 7-inch touchscreen. Comes with all CarPlay. Comes with sat-nav in this model as well. And it's relatively good news. Every interior in a Ford is just really well laid out. Nice big cup holders. That's your automatic. You can pick between your modes, so slippery, sport, normally go. Then you've got your EV button here, parking sensors. You've also got a USB-C charger, a normal USB, and a wireless phone charger here as well. So you've got everything you need in here. Like, there's nothing else that I would say you do need. This also doesn't have the upgraded Bowers and Wilkinson stereo system, but it's perfect. It's really loud, great bass, great treble off it, lovely sound. This is what you'll see. You'll have Amy and Dylan in the back, your 2 kids, and probably a dog in the middle maybe. What else have we got in here? I don't want to break this. Oh, there we go. So, some more storage down there. You can keep the sweets down there. You've got your buttons here for your climate control. That's handy. Don't ever get rid of buttons for it, please. So you got your automatic brake, electric brake. What else have you got? Let's start the ignition here and see what goes on. Yes, I know the vehicle is on. I'm just have to turn it on. What have we got here? Okay, ready to drive. Now my battery is on 0%. I did charge it last night, but I actually ended up using all the battery. What have you got here? You can flick through all your different menus. Now you don't get your sat nav on this screen here, but to be honest with you, you don't really need it. It's better off up here. Now what we're going to do, right, we're going to drive this into Arnott's in Dublin City Centre. We're going to go around, we're going to put the Christmas tree in the back of it, and it should fit. I think it's an 8-foot Christmas tree, but it'll be in a 4-foot box, so demonstrate the build capacity of it and just take for a spin in and out of town. Now I'll get into whether you should buy this one if you're a commuter or not on the journey, but for now let's take it into Dublin. Let's go. Right, so we've just dumped in the car park. I'm mainly videoing this to remember what floor I'm on because it's always very confusing. So let's go get this Christmas tree. As you can tell, I'm sweating. I'm only after lifting the Christmas tree up here. As you can see, I would put it in the boot, but I parked a bit too close to the roof thing here, so it'll fit in the boot now, bother, but I'm just going to leave it across the back seats for now because keep it simple, innit? Here, we have to go do the ticket now.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, the joys of underground car parks. Right, so we successfully got the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
We go get coffee.
Yeah. It's off to the ring.
Off to the... Oh jeez, I'm after signing myself up to more shopping than I want. Right, so we're gonna go for a little drive. I'm after abandoning Sienna at the range so she can go do a bit of Christmas shopping. Right guys, so it's time to have a little chat about the Ford Kuga PHEV, right? We'll go for a little spin and I'm gonna give you a brief overview of why I personally would not go for a PHEV. Right, so the car itself, okay? The car itself is a lovely car, right? Everything works perfectly. It's really comfortable. Really, like, I know it doesn't look like I'm going over speed bumps, but it is really smooth. Everything about it, even the gearbox, even though it's a hybrid or whatever, it's just everything's silky smooth. You don't really feel much. The steering is nice and direct, very light. We've done the underground car park in Arnott's and it tackled it with no problems whatsoever. And I enjoy driving it. I enjoy being in it. However, I do have a big problem with the hybrid part of it, okay? And this is just my opinion, alright? So it might suit you guys, but I'll explain what I do for a living, right? So basically, at any one stage of the day, anywhere on the calendar, from Monday to Sunday, I can be anywhere, okay? And I'm not trying to brag or anything like that. It's just who I am. I'm always in the car, or if I'm not in the car, I'm in the truck, or if I'm not in the truck, I'm in the van. I spend my days traveling. That's what I do. So if you're one of those kind of people and you do have to do a bit of commuting, so if you have an hour's drive into Dublin every day to go to work or to drop kids to school or anything like that, basically if you're living the countryside in any way at all, a hybrid just isn't for you. And hear me out, here are my reasons why. Because number one, the battery range in this is only 60 kilometers in electric mode only, right? So realistically it's about 45, okay? You know, just depending on weather conditions and the terrain you're driving on and where you're, you know what happens. Real world scenario, you'll get about 45 kilometers out of it, right? Which is fine if you're just pootling around town, you don't have anywhere to go, you're not spinning up and down the motorway. That's fine for you. But if you're someone like me and you commute to work every day and I don't have any kids or anything like that, but I still have to go off and do things everywhere else, and I do live in the country, so I just don't agree with the whole plug-in hybrid system. Number one, diesel's cheaper to buy, and I've driven the diesel variant of this car and it is a magnificent car, really is. Like, I love the diesel variant. I drove a diesel, well anyway, it was a 2-litre diesel, it was 190 horsepower, automatic, ST line Kuga, and it was unbelievable. I loved it. Perfect, literally a perfect car. what a lot of people don't really explain to you, and a lot of the journalists don't really explain to you, is range anxiety. Right? Let me just explain that for you, right? So if you're someone who has a couple of kids, you'll know that your life's very stressful. You haven't got a lot of time at all. You've got enough time to get into the car and go where you're going. The last thing you need to be thinking about is, oh, do I have enough petrol, or do I have enough battery to get where I'm going? And then you run out of battery juice, and then it's telling you you're running out of fuel. You know, to be honest, I've just found it annoying the whole time I've had it. The car itself is a lovely car. Nothing against the car. Just the hybrid system is just poo. I wouldn't buy a hybrid. Any hybrid, not just a Ford hybrid. I wouldn't buy any hybrids. My personal opinion is, if you want an electric car, or you're going down that route of like saving the planet, I want to buy an electric car, I want to buy something that I don't have to put any fuel in at all, just buy a fully electric car. Don't mess around with a hybrid, okay? This is nothing against Ford. I love these cars. I love everything about it. Everything's so usable, especially compared to its competitors. So like the likes of, what would be the competitor to this? So the Kia Sportage hybrid would be a competitor to this. No, I'd stay with me Ford, thank you very much. I've driven a Kia, they're not great. Good car, just I'd rather a Ford. Everything works a bit better, everything feels a bit more premium, drives really well, it's probably a bit cheaper to service and stuff like that. And Ford's come with a 7-year warranty now, so where would you be dealing with that, like, you know? As I said, I don't agree with hybrids. And I said this to the guys in Smiths when they gave me this. I said, hybrids aren't really my cup of tea. They said, look, just drive it and see what you think. Because I've never driven a hybrid for longer than a day. And I've had this for a couple of days now, and it's cool. Like, I've driven it into Dublin City Centre. You've just seen I've been in Dublin City Centre. It was lovely around town. If I lived in Dublin or the surrounding area, something like this would suit me great. But because of the lifestyle I have, I can't afford to be worrying about how much battery do I have, how much petrol do I have. Do I have to charge it every time I stop? You know, like, it's just a lot of time wasted. You know, you have to worry about, oh, I'm gonna have to plug it in, and then especially if you have kids, like, you know, you have a couple of kids in the back getting buggies ready, you know, you're getting them out of the car, trying to even get them to go somewhere on a Saturday is hard work. So then you have to worry about plugging your car in, and then if you can't find a parking space with electricity, that becomes stressful. And then you're driving down the road, and because it's a 0% battery, even though I have 3/4 of a full tank of petrol, it's telling me I've no fuel. It's not ideal. And it's like, what would I call a hybrid engine? I'd call it the middleman. It's a messer. You're dealing with one thing to get to another thing. Whereas if you go straight to the source, straight to the manufacturer, diesel, petrol, or electric, you know? At least if you're only having an electric car, all you have to worry about is charging it. You don't have to worry about petrol, and you don't have to worry about, there's only 60 kilometers of change, none of that. So that's my personal opinion. Some people might not agree with that, but I test cars, and I test them hard, and I give my real and honest opinion. If I thought this was a great machine that I would buy myself, I would tell you. Same with any of my other Ford reviews, like the ST Fiesta I reviewed and the Transit Trail I reviewed, both class, and I really enjoyed them, and I would buy them. I might actually be buying a Trail next year. More on that to come. But yeah, Cougar's a class car, very comfortable. One thing I will say, very, very comfortable. Like, listen, this is it now in just electric cruising around town mode. So silent, like I could literally whisper. It's brilliant. It is brilliant, like, for cruising around here. But just for the life I deal with, I don't have time to think about, do I have enough battery? You know, I just don't have time. And I know a lot of people are the same. Life's too short to be worrying about range anxiety. You know what I mean? Just way too short. So yeah, that's just one thing I had to get out my chest. Another thing that I would like to see on these is the leather sheet. I was about to say something dirty there. The leather seats, I think they should all come with leather seats, just for preventative purposes. You know, you want to, people who are going to buy this car are going to have kids, more than likely, you know, or they're going to be around kids, and it's just so much it's handier to have leather seats. So I'm just cruising around Coolock here at the minute, and I haven't driven around here in a long time. Used to deliver into Dunstars in here. So yeah, look, if you're thinking about buying a hybrid, I would recommend this, but personally I think hybrids are just a waste of time. Ford are now coming out with the Mach-E, which is the all-electric Mustang. I've had a sneak peek at it, and there will be a video coming on that very shortly during the Christmas calendar. And personally, if you're gonna do it, just get an electric. Just don't waste your time with a hybrid. Just don't do it. Okay? Oh God, I'm literally dropping this off after work. So I've had this yoke for a couple of days and I really like it. I actually really do. So I've driven it for, actually let's just get in and check the range. I've driven it for near enough 600 kilometers, right? So I'll show you all here live. Okay, go away. Go away. Yes, driver door's open. I do know that shit. Maybe I have to close the door. Right. Okay, that's fine. That's brilliant. Thank you. Okay. Right, so I've done 560 kilometers and that's how much fuel I have left, which is loads. It's loads. Now, the battery, I charged it once and I haven't charged it since. And I'd like to thank Smiths of Drogheda Ford, which are the guys here. I'd like to thank them very much for being a part of the Christmas calendar, and we do have more episodes to come, so please tune into those and it'll be very exciting. My end thoughts on this, after having it for a couple of days, I just think plug-in hybrids aren't the way, as you would have heard yesterday. Now, in fairness, the range is as good as I thought it was going to be, but I was expecting I had high expectations, and it's performed very well. But I've no doubt in my mind that I would do 1,000 kilometers to a tank of petrol. However, I just think it's just a pain having to plug it in all the time. That's my personal opinion. If it suits you, that's great, and I hope it works for you. Personally, I'd just go for the diesel and I'd be happy out with that. But as I was saying, thanks again to Smiths of Drogheda for helping me make this Absolute calendar possible, and a couple of other friends along the way. Anyway, we'll talk about that in the next video. Thanks very much for watching. I really appreciate it, and thanks again to Smiths of Drogheda for helping me out. So guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Best of luck.